This is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow with another edition of Cooking with Janet. You remember I told you last time how that once the fresh fruits and vegetables come on, it kind of puts me in the cooking mode again. So I showed you a little bit of things we could do with strawberries last time. So I'm going to bump us up a little bit and I'm going to actually show you how to make some strawberry crepes. And of course you can do different things with the crepes besides strawberries, but that's what I have. But before I start the crepes, what I want to show you is how to do whipped cream. Now, to some of you, you may think, why is she showing us how to do whipped cream? The reason I'm showing you is because a lot of people, unfortunately, these days use things like Cool Whip, which is totally chemicals, or from a can, which is, if it's dairy, at least it's a step up, but it's usually filled with corn syrup and other things you don't want to eat. So it's really easy to make whipped cream, and not only once you make it, you can put it in your refrigerator. It will keep for a while, though it may tend to separate. You can also put it in your freezer. What I've got here, and this is actually 2 cups of organic heavy whipping cream that I'm going to do for you. It's very easy, but it's a big batch, especially if you're one person. It's going to go right in my bowl. Now the reason I have it in the sink is you really do need a mixer, and I have a big mixer that you can use and will go very fast. I also have a hand mixer. They're very relatively inexpensive to purchase, so if you don't have a mixer, you need something. I don't know if they have egg beaters these days. I learned to do whipping cream with an egg beater, and you can do that as well, which is even cheaper than a hand mixer if the finances are an issue. So all you have to do is get the heavy cream, you put it into a bowl, and I use a sweetener of maple syrup. Now, you can use vanilla, you can use your coconut crystals, you can use other things, and I'm just into 2 cups. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of maple syrup in, and sometimes I don't even put that much in. Depends on how I feel that day. Okay, so this is my hand mixer. Let me unplug this and plug this in. And this does go all over the place. So I have a paper towel here that I'm just going to hold up so it doesn't go. And you can wash it as it builds up volume. We're just really beating air into it. So here we go. I'm going to just stop it halfway through. You can see how the volume is building. Okay, it's getting thicker. You can overbeat it. If you overbeat it, it can turn to butter. It will separate. But when you get to a certain point, you'll know. So I'm going to beat it a little bit further, but just be mindful not to overbeat, especially if you have a big mixer and you're not using a handheld. It can happen pretty fast sometimes. So here we go. Okay, this is about how thick that I like it. It's still pretty soft. There's soft peaks in there. But you can see how it does splatter. That's why I set it in my sink. And if you have a big mixer, it's not going to splatter as much. You just want to be a little bit mindful of it. But anyway, it's very easy to do. If you want chocolate whipped cream, you can put about 1/4 of a cup to 1/3 of a cup, maybe even 1/2 a cup of raw cacao powder in there. And while you're beating, just beat it all together. And you can put it in cookies and freeze it and slice it and make some interesting desserts that way. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's much better for you than what you're going to get out of a can. And of course, God forbid, you do not want to put any Cool Whip. Well, you don't want that to pass your lips if you can help it, because that stuff is really nasty. So make your own whipped cream if that you possibly can. All right? So with that said, I want to go on to the crepe batter, which I have is going to be a very easy one for you. I happen to have a large glass Pyrex bowl that I can pour my crepe batter out of. The crepes are good. You want them to be relatively thin, so that and you really do need a non-stick frying pan for that. I've already gone ahead and I have ground my 1 1/4 cup of buckwheat flour, and I have 2 cups of coconut milk. And again, you can use any liquid that you want. I'm going to put that in there. And I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil, which again, you can use melted butter if you want. You can use different kinds of margarines, or not margarines, I'm sorry, of fats. Margarines on my mind because, again, it's like the Cool Whip. Please don't use that either. It's terrible. So 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I have a 1/2 teaspoon of aluminum-free baking powder. I'm going to put in just a pinch of sea salt into my batter. And if you can make it with or without the eggs, but I'm going to put 2 eggs in here and beat this up. Now, in order to get a really nice batter, I am going to use my hand mixer with it because I like to get it nice and well mixed, which is easier than what I can do. But again, with a little bit of patience, you don't have to use a hand mixer. If you have an egg beater, you can do that. Let me grab my mixer, rinse off the cream. Okay, we're just going to make this a nice smooth batter, and this is not going to fly like the other. And that, as you can see, just takes about not even a minute probably. But you just want to get everything mixed in nicely. Okay, once you have that done, you want to take your pan. You are going to get it hot, and I'm going to use my goat butter. You can use your cow butter. You can use a little bit of oil, but this will help to give it a little nicer flavor, in my opinion. So once I get that hot, my pan to put it on. I get that hot, and then I'm going to take my butter and rub it over the bottom. Now you can put a little bit in there if you want. Now you kind of learn your own style of cooking. Again, there is no right, there is no wrong. It's however it works itself out. The main thing is that you do what's easy for you and you enjoy the process as best as you can without high expectations. We're not professional chefs here. We're just enjoying having fun in our kitchen, feeding our body, and doing what works for us. Okay? I want to get this a little bit bubbly because once I put the batter in, I'm going to roll it around and let it cook and then flip it. Now, your crepe may break apart if you do this. And again, don't be concerned about that. You're not a professional chef, most likely, and we're just out having fun. So sometimes mine break and sometimes they don't. And it doesn't really matter because it's delicious and you're going to enjoy it regardless of what it looks like. So let's let our butter get a little bubbly. And you know what? I think I'm going to add about a ½ teaspoon of xanthan gum. Cover it here. Because that will help the more delicate flours stay together. So this may be about a ½ teaspoon of xanthan gum. Okay, my butter is getting bubbly, just the way I like it. And now I'm going to just pour out a little bit in the middle. And then we're just going to run it around a little bit until we get it the size that we want it. Now the other thing you want to remember is that these darker flours, or the heavier flours, are not going to roll like a wheat flour will. It's a little bit different consistency. Okay. So that's why I tell you not to be too concerned if things break apart, if it doesn't look as pretty as things that you get in the restaurant. And the main thing is that you want to do some cooking, you want to enjoy it, you want to feed yourself healthy. And however it turns out is just going to be perfect for whatever it is you need it for. This will take it a couple seconds. And if you want it thinner, if you want it, you can add a little bit of water to your batter as well, which will thin it out and will help it to run around the edge of your pan better. So look at the side. You can see it's already starting to set around the edges, but not quite in the middle. So you don't want to turn it yet because your whole middle is going to collapse. So we want to kind of get it nice and bubbly. You learn your own stove, how to adjust your heat, however it works for you. You see the bubbles coming up, just like if you would a pancake. a really nice smell. Buckwheat is really good for you. Okay, you can see now it's loosening up. It's still not quite ready to turn in my opinion. But it is starting to set here. You can see, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the colors are changing from where it's cooked and where it's not cooked. And I have done these in non-stick pans. It's a lot more challenging. If you're going to use a non-stick, you're really better off just to do a pancake rather than a crepe. Okay, let's see if we can get this to flip. I don't know. There we go. Okay. Close enough. I think I'm going to add a little bit of water to the next one because it's a little thicker than I like. And again, not very much. Just a couple of tablespoons. And stir that in. Put it off onto my plate. Now once I have the crepe done, I have some of Cindy's strawberries that I told you about. And I'm just going to cut a few up in the middle. And you can use, of course, any fruit that you want. And if you like, you can throw a little maple syrup on, again, depending on how sweet you like it. You can also put a little bit of sugar in your crepe pancake mix if you like. I'm going to roll it this way, like that. And with, I need a spoon here, I'll put a dollop of cream on it. And actually, I have also a little side treat for you here. This is the chocolate some chocolate fondue, that similar to what I showed you last time, and you can put that right on the top. You can put it inside. And a little bit of the cream on the top, and a little strawberry on, like this. Okay, I'll put a little dollop right in the middle just because for fun. Okay, and so you can see, even though it's broken, it's still a beautiful dessert. Who's going to be upset about getting that, all right? So it's lovely to eat, it's wonderfully tasteful, and it's good for you. It's nice, dark, healthy chocolate, as I showed you in the chocolate fondue. You've got some nice cream, fresh strawberries, buckwheat. I mean, this looks like a dessert, which is the way I like to eat it. You can have it for breakfast. You can have friends over for afternoon tea. And everybody's going to be really happy and nutritionally satisfied. So there you have it. There's the crepe. So let's set this aside over here for a minute. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you today is how to do an omelet, because you can have an omelet with your crepe. You can have it separately for breakfast. You can have it for dinner. And they're really easy to do. So I'm just going to, again, heat up my nonstick frying pan. And this time I'm going to put oil in right in the bottom, a little bit more. And this one, I actually have 5 eggs in here. I'm just going to whip them together. And again, you can, if you want to make it a little fluffier, you can do an egg beater or a handheld mixer, but this is easy, and again, I'm always wanting to do it easy. So as soon as your oil is hot, what I do is I just put it in, and you let it cook. Now, this is like the crepe. This could break apart when you flip it, and if it is, it's okay, because when you wrap it up and you get everything in it, it doesn't really matter. It's still going to look nice, and it's going to taste delicious, and that's really your bottom line. Again, you're not out to be a professional chef. You are just out to have some fun, make some good nutritious food, and you want to think about how your food looks, because your digestion begins with your eyes, and when you see something that looks good, that's when you think you want to eat it. And even myself, some of the things that I make, people will tell me I don't like this kind of food and I don't like that kind of food, but when they taste my food, because first of all it looks really nice and they go, oh, I want to try that, they find out that they do like it. So Again, your digestion begins with your eyes. You can see it's starting to set. It doesn't really take long. And the other nice thing about these omelets, again, if you're the one person, you can make a big omelet like this. You can put it in your refrigerator. You can cut it into 3 or 4 pieces. It's easy to heat. I put it in a frying pan with a little water to steam it and a lid over the top. If you don't have lids for your frying pans, because not everybody does, you can take a piece of foil and do the same thing. So you can create your own lid. You can see now I put enough oil that it's going to slide around a little bit. And again, I've done these without nonstick, but nonstick is going to make the best omelet as far as being able to flip it and to keep it in one, have more of a chance of keeping it in one piece. But I don't really fret about things. I used to, but I don't really anymore because it doesn't change it. And I found out it really mattered more to me than to anybody else, so if other people are happy, I'm happy. Now, this isn't quite done, but I'm still going to flip it, which is what I do in my real life. I poked a hole here, so that might make it break. Let's see. Nope, it went. Okay. Now we're just going to cook the other side. It was easy. Sometimes it cooperates, sometimes it doesn't. And once it's cooked, I'm just going to slide it off onto this plate. Okay? And now I'm going to tell you how to do easy omelets. You pull out whatever's in your refrigerator. So I have some meat. Here, this is ground buffalo. And I'm going to heat it up now. You can do it. This is how I do an omelet. I really, especially in the mornings, what do I have left over from last night's dinner? And that's what goes into my omelet the next morning oftentimes. So I look for some kind of a meat. This happens to be some ground buffalo. You can do seafood, you can do chicken, fish. I have done all kinds. And then I just ask my oversoul to tell me what goes with it. And also I like to go with color and presentation. So here I'm going to put my meat in the middle of my omelet and save a little bit for the top. And I also, remember I'm kind of on the verge now. I'm going to turn this off but put some oil so it's warming. I'm in between seasons, so I don't have a lot in my refrigerator going on, but I have some. So over here I've got some garlic that I've peeled and cut up. I have some onion, so that's going to go in first into my oil. Okay, and then remember I told you I had some snap peas. So I showed you how to do those the other day. I'm going to mix those in. And I'm doing a diagonal slice just because it's fun and it gives a different look to everything. And you just kind of do whatever you feel like doing. There are no rules, but I've done it with peas, I've done it with spinach, I've done it with cauliflower, green beans, broccoli, you know, you name it. That's going to go in here into my vegetable mix. Okay, and I think about what kind of sauce I have. So I pulled out barbecue sauce. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of this on the meat. Now, I've done it with Mexican meat, so then if I have salsa, I'll use that for my sauce. And again, you just want to kind of get it so it's crispy. You don't want to cook it to death. You can see the snap peas are getting a little darker green. The onions are getting a little translucent, and your garlic is a little bit browned in there. So again, nothing fancy. And then I'm just going to put a scoop of veggies on. And I happen to find some beans, so I'm going to just warm them up just a little bit. Beans are always good in an omelet, and again, it doesn't really matter what flavors. You know, look in your refrigerator, find something that's unusual and different, and put it together because that's indicative of your mind pattern. So you see, the colors are nice. And already, if you're an egg eater, which I'm not, but I am appreciating the colors and the textures. And you just fold that over. Easy. Kind of move it to the middle of the plate if you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some meat on top. I reserved a little bit. Okay, here come my veggies that were in the middle. Actually, before that, I think because I think I like to see how's this going to look. Actually, what I prefer to do is put my cheese on. So I have some cheese, so then I take some kind of cheese, doesn't matter what kind you have. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on because the heat's going to melt it. Now I'm going to put the meat up there because I like that look. The vegetables are going to go on top, like this. Okay. Remember, I've got the barbecue sauce thing going on. So I'm going to kind of move that across the top. And actually, I've got a little salt and pepper. So I'm going to salt it a little bit. I'm going to throw a little bit of pepper on it. I like the looks of my red pepper. This is dried red pepper. So I'm going to put that on the top. And in my refrigerator I also found some jarred red pepper, so I'm going to put that on for a little bit of a visual aid here. Okay, you see how easy it takes, like 5 minutes or less practically. Okay, and it really, you just pull stuff out from your refrigerator. You need to bring out your eggs, take some kind of meat, get your veggies, your cheese and sauces, a few spices, and you're ready to roll. And again, you can use it for yourself. If 2 or 3 people, you can cut it into wedges. I'm going to take a plate over here because I want to show you how nice it looks once it's actually cut. Okay, so we're going to just go right in half. And I'll put half on this plate for some lucky person. And half here. Okay, so you have a really nice taste treat. And again, for yourself, you would cut it again. Put it on in a bowl or a baggie, and you can easily heat this again in a frying pan with a lid or a little bit of foil over the top of it to steam it lightly, and you're good to roll. But it's so easy for yourself, for friends. You know, take it for a brunch at work. It travels nicely. So there you have it. Okay, so have fun with your cooking. Think about what's going into your mind. Think about what the food that you're putting into your body represents about your mind. Join me on the membership side. These are the things that we talk about. Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow for expansions.com. Until next time, bye-bye.